Aaron Donald to the Pittsburgh Steelers? What about Joey Porter Jr. and his possible holdout? This and a lot more on All About the Game. Welcome back, everybody, to All About the Game. I'm your host, Jason. And like I said before, we're going to dive into that Aaron Donald situation, possibly him becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler. Also, let's dive into what most of you Steeler fans really want to know about right now, probably, is the Joey Porter Jr. contract saga. What about Joey Porter Jr. not signing and holding out here before training camp? What would that mean for both sides, for the Joey Porter Jr. Camp, for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I think it would be detrimental to both. And I think both the Steelers and Porter got to come to some sort of agreement. I understand that Joey Porter Jr. is a young guy. This is his first NFL professional contract. So he's trying to get the most guaranteed money that he can possibly get. And I perfectly am cool with that. I support him in that. And I think that's what he should be doing. But Joey Porter Jr. has to realize one thing. All the guaranteed money in the world might not get you anything down the road, considering you got to get in training camp. You got to get there and get started. It's a big thing for a rookie not to miss any time in these critical portions of his NFL career. The more you do now, the more you'll make later. And I know a lot of them don't see that, and they see the immediate dollar signs. And I get the risk for injury. I get the risk for catastrophic injury, career-ending injuries. I get that. I get you could flop. But you got to remember, you got to get some sort of deal done. You can't miss any of the critical portions because it's going to slow your growth so much. And that's going to be very bad for Joey. And that's going to be very, very, very bad for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it would really throw a wrench into their plans that they currently have right now at the cornerback position, because I'm almost certain that it involves Joey Porter Jr., Corey Trice, Levi Wallace, those guys, Patrick Peterson. Those guys all have to be there. They have to learn what their roles are going to be. These are critical moments, and any day missed when you're dealing with the complexity of NFL defense, you're going to just fall behind. And I know he played at a big school, Penn State. They should be, getting you pro ready. But when you're missing the time with your teammates, your study time, those are things you'll never be able to get back. And I know you can try to make up for lost time once you get there and really put the hammer down and study and things like that. Or maybe study and train while you're away. But there's always complications in life. You're not in that rigid structure that you need to be in to be able to gain these reps that you need. And you're going against live, real life professionals, not just training on a field, doing shadow drills by yourself with a trainer. That's not the same thing. You're going to need to be in helmets and a shoulder pad, ready to go, dude. You can't miss those reps, because these guys are giving you that live action, which is the only way you're going to be able to learn the NFL speed. And no one can knock Joey Porter for wanting the most money that he can get. However, there are limits now with the draft classes and how much money they can get and what the structures look like. So Joey Porter, he's working inside those constraints. And him, his agent, and himself, they're really trying to make sure that they're getting every nickel that's available. But July 27th is rapidly approaching, and the Steelers only have one guy left to sign out of their draft class, and that is Joey Porter Jr. So, which that is a good thing, because now the Steelers can singularly focus on Joey Porter Jr.'s contract and work on getting that done. But the Steelers are the type of organization that no one man is bigger than the team. So they'll give you everything they got, but they're not gonna, they're not gonna burn the barn down for just one player. And they're not gonna give all their resources to just one player. So Joey's got to remember, the Steelers are more of a team-oriented type franchise. So he's gonna have to play that ball game with them. And he's gonna have to remember, hey, if I do more now and I do better things now and I get myself into a better situation in terms of learning, in terms of getting those quality reps to get the speed of the game down, that's going to help me in my next contract. Or possibly, hey, I'm on a 2 years on my rookie deal. Maybe I can renegotiate some money. Things like that. It just depends. You're going to get paid. You're going to be wealthy. And especially if you're a pick 32, that would any other year, that would have been a first round selection. So I get to where he wants that first round money. So, but any other year, that would have been the first round pick. But that wasn't the first round pick. That was a high second round pick, the first pick in the second round. So you are still in the second round. So I'm sure that falls under the second round draft pick constraints of what the league has set up right now for the contracts. So lots of variables, guys. I just want to tell you that I cannot even possibly imagine a deal not getting done. I think it would be horrible for both sides. And I just don't think it would happen. I think Joey Porter, you'll see him July 27th in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, ready to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers and to get his rookie year started off on the right foot. And I don't foresee anything holding that up. And you may not see this contract this week, maybe not next week. It might be the night before training camp. But I do foresee a deal getting done beforehand. So you can take that to the bank. Don't worry about it. Don't get so wrapped up in it. They will get it done. Omar Khan will make sure this deal gets done for one of their top draft picks, their second choice in this year's draft. So they will make sure they get that kid on the field. He's ready to go. He looks like like he's in shape. He looks like he's really gelling with his teammates during the OTA periods and mandatory camps. So we're going to see a Joey Porter play at a high level. Barring injuries, all that stuff, we should see him on the field and be ready to go the first day of training camp. Let's move into the rumor of Aaron Donald. I've seen a little bit on the internet, a couple shows that I watch. I've seen all Steelers talk about it just a little bit ago. Different programs that I watch on YouTube and different websites that I visit. They say the possibility of Aaron Donald coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers is a real one. And in my heart and my views on this, I don't know if it would work. Just considering you may be able to make it work if the Rams say they suck. That's what they're trying to say. These guys are trying to say if the Rams are absolutely horrible, they're tanking the season, they're going to be picking high in the 2024 draft. They're saying that the Rams are going to try to offload an Aaron Donald to gain draft picks for that draft, considering they've emptied the cupboard on a lot of their deals that they've done over the years. That's what won them the Super Bowl, being aggressive, spending the money, burning the draft capital. But now they're in that process to where they have to restock the cupboard, man. They have to be able to restock and get ready to go and get some draft picks and not just try to rely on buying all the veteran players that they can, because that model can't work all the time. You're going to have phases to where if you're a franchise that does that, you're going to have phases in years, which could be many years, 2-3 years, that you have to rebuild. You have to fill back up the young talent. And those are the guys that you need to hit on that, can build that nucleus of a team. Then you can sprinkle in those veterans. But once you get to that point, then you can start buying those veterans again and working those cap numbers, and going back to that model of like win now type thing. So, but you have to get back to that. And the Rams are supposedly going to be interested in offloading a superior guy, probably the best player in the NFL. Him, TJ Watt, I feel are like the best two on defense. I feel like, Patrick Mahomes, those are like my top three guys in the NFL. But Aaron Donald holds a heavy, heavy hit, guys, in the cap area. And I know you can renegotiate deals and I know you can restructure deals, but what are you going to have to give up for Aaron Donald? Are you going to have to give up 2 first-round picks? One first-round pick and a high second, or what's going to be the number? And the Steelers have built right now a quality nucleus, so they can afford to miss out on a high draft pick for one season. They could afford that, and I think that could be something that they could do. However, the money numbers are what's going to worry me. I know it's something we shouldn't think about now because we don't even know if the deal could get done just in terms of draft capital and what they would have to do. But maybe the Rams pick up some of that salary. This year, he's on the hook for $24 million, which, or no, I'm sorry, $26 million. And then next season, if you want to try to keep this guy even one more year, he's holding the cap hit of $34 million. Is Aaron Donald worth top shelf money? Absolutely. He's a plug and play at any position on that defensive line immediately and upgrades you to the point of being a contender on that defense. I mean, you're going to get such production from a guy like Aaron Donald, but he is in the latter part of his career. So injuries become a concern when you're paying a guy $34 million, $26 million. Where do you restructure? How much do the Rams pick up? How much draft capital is it going to take for this to get done? It could be a hefty price. And are the Steelers even prepared to be able to do that, considering they're already projected to be $6 million over the cap for 2024, which is not a tall task for Omar Khan and company. He'll be able to get that done and reel that back in. But you have an Alex Highsmith contract that's coming that you have to get done because you need to keep Alex. Is he going to take a deal that's $4 to $5 million, $6 million per year to remain in Pittsburgh? Is he going to give you that type of hometown discount? I'm not 1,000% sure he actually will. So, are you riding in the last season of Alex Highsmith? Or do you flip Alex Highsmith, rely on somebody like Herbig, Golden, those types of guys, flip Alex Highsmith for whatever you can get for him now, trade that capital to get Aaron Donald, and then, hey, there you go. I mean, that could happen too. Highsmith may not be producing going into the bye week, and maybe somebody will take a chance on him, and you might get still a little bit that you can package up and put with that Aaron Donald trade to be able to bring Aaron Donald over to Pittsburgh. It is Aaron's hometown team. I mean, he trains here in the off season. He's familiar with the area. This is home. So, what do they do? What does Omar Khan do? I don't think that they won't talk about it. I don't think that they won't explore it. Several other people think that they're going to explore it, which I do too. Omar Khan's never going to turn down a phone call for a quality All-Pro, Hall of Fame, Super Bowl champion player. It just wouldn't happen at all. So that we'll see if it could happen, but man, I think the Steelers would have to be in a really good place in terms of standings to where they're, the 1-2 seed at that time right now, sitting at that 1 or 2 seed at the deadline if the playoffs would start then, to where they're definitely looking to where they're going to make a run in the playoffs and they're going to load up for the playoffs. You got to have Kenny Pickett playing at a medium to high level. You got to have that defense healthy, TJ Watt healthy. You got to really have Cam Heyward, Larry Ogunjobi. You got to have those guys healthy. Minka Fitzpatrick. You got to have those corners being able to work, being able to get into the game speed with the 2 rookies. And you got to be able to have those guys being all contributors to where everything, all the pieces of this puzzle that Omar Khan's put together would have to work now. You wouldn't be able to wait for a couple years and let it develop. It would have to work now if you're going to go out and get somebody like Aaron Donald. That's the only way you do it. You don't get him for any other reason because he's probably going to be a rental for 1 year. He's been talking about retirement now for the last couple years. What's he going to do? You rent him for the second half of this year, you give up high draft capital, and then you don't ever get to see him again after the Super Bowl. If you made it to the Super Bowl or after the playoffs, you don't ever see him again. So does that work? Is that worth giving up so much in draft capital? And I'm a believer in draft capital. I know a lot of guys say, who cares? You don't know what they are. They're unproven commodities. I get that. But like what I had talked about before, that's what builds the nucleus of ball clubs. And you have to be able to keep replenishing your young talent, or otherwise you're going to be screwed and you're going to find yourself in a position such as the Los Angeles Rams. That's just what it does. That's what happens. So when you go out there and you're burning through everything, it's hard to catch back up at times unless you have a very savvy general manager that's able to flip picks, flip players fast and in a hurry, restock your shelves. That's the only way, man. And those guys are very hard to find. You're not just finding great general managers everywhere. It's very hard to find an organization that has a solid general manager that can be there for 10, 15 years, like A Kevin Colbert, for instance, just because we're talking about the Steelers, but like a Kevin Colbert. Omar Khan's been in the building for, a gazillion years. These guys, and Andy Weidel, you got him on the staff. It's just, you have to have those types of caliber people, man. You have to have that caliber of general manager, front office staff to be able to replenish those cupboards, guys. You just got to. So I don't know if the deal would get done. I think it would be kind of not so far fetched. I know a lot of people think it may be, but I don't think it's as far fetched as we all think. I think they could restructure the numbers, which is what most people are going to have the problem with, which I do too. But I think they could make the money work. It would just depend on, hey, is that enough to get him from the Rams? Are the Rams desperate enough, to not take as much to where maybe you don't give up 2 first-round picks. You just give up 1 and a third or something, 1 first-rounder and a third. That would work. And they pick up 10 million or something this year. Something stupid. I don't know. Just something like that to make money work, to make the draft capital work to where it's fair for both sides. And it gives Aaron Donald another chance to come home and win a championship in his hometown and possibly maybe even retire a champion. After he did it in Los Angeles, maybe he could come home and end his career and do it in front of his hometown fans. That'd be storybook. The man's a rich man. He's made millions and millions. He's very wealthy. That would be storybook if that were to happen. I was going to put out a bonus episode the other day on Cameron Heyward. I've been seeing lots of tweets. I've been seeing some of the other shows talking about, people are saying Cam Heyward's old, and it shows. That's not the guy I've been seeing in OTAs and on film. The guy has been looking like a young stud. The guy was drafted in 2011. He didn't play his first couple seasons, had no real significant snaps in those first couple seasons. He's a 78 and a half career sack guy, 379 solo tackles, 183 games started, or games played, starting 148 games. He's a 3-time first team All-Pro, a 1-time second team All-Pro, a 6-time Pro Bowler. The man is a Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner. Just so many accolades for Cam Heyward. The only thing he doesn't have is that ring, guys. He's ring chasing now. He's wealthy, man. He's made money. He's done it all in the game. And I think he's really motivated to guide this and mold this young talent and be able to bring them up and win that ring. He's ring chasing. He's ready to go. But he's staying with the Steelers because he knows they have just such a quality organization. I don't think he would ever go anywhere else. I think he'll retire a Steeler no matter what. But I think he has a year or 2 of tread left on those tires. And people keep knocking him. But I am not, I'm not knocking Cam Heyward. I am a Cam Heyward fan, and I feel like he gets better with age. The man played lights out last year. You can't argue it. He really had no deficiencies, if you ask me. He looked really, really good. He was, at times, really trying to take the whole defense and put it on his back when TJ Watt was injured. Cam Heyward is a leader, and you just don't find those falling from the tree all the time, guys. He's a real leader. People listen. Players listen to Cam. Players respect Cam. Cam gets the respect from the coaching staff and the front office. Cam is a Steeler. He is what defines what a Steeler is. When the Steelers talk about drafting Steeler-type players, that is Cam Heyward. Look at him. He is the example. I know I'm such a fan of Cam Heyward. I just ordered a jersey of Cam Heyward, actually. I had so many other ones, Minka, Kenny, all of them, man. But I was like, I got to get a Cam Heyward jersey. So my son and I, now that we're basically the same size, we've just been kind of getting as many as we can. So we can enjoy wearing those on game days and all that fun stuff. So, but Cam Heyward, guys, true baller, man, true Hall of Famer in my book. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer just because of he doesn't get the attention as an Aaron Donald, but I do think he would be deserving of a first ballot Hall of Fame nod. Cam has been one of the best Steelers I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I've seen him play in 4 Super Bowls. I've seen him lose 2, win 2, but I've seen him play in 4 Super Bowls. So I've watched the Steelers for a while, and if I were to go through and name my all-time favorite Steelers in my lifetime, and what I've watched, Cam Heyward would have to be on that list. He's one of the best I've ever seen play in Pittsburgh at the defensive tackle in my lifetime. The guy really has it going on. I can't speak for the 70s players. All I've watched is highlights and things like that. But, we didn't have the great video quality and all those things at that time. So it's hard to really assess them. I didn't get to see them live. I didn't get to feel their energy and watch how they interacted with their team. But all around, I can say that Cam Heyward is one of the better Steelers I've ever seen. So let's wrap this episode up. Those were the topics that I just wanted to touch on. Thank you so much. We're growing crazy again. Still, it's been fun, man. It's been a humbling experience so far. And I truly appreciate all your comments. I've been trying to reply back to every one of you, good or bad. I've been trying to reply back no matter what. And don't be afraid to put your comment there. I would never get ignorant with you or anything. We'll just have a conversation. So feel free, put what you want in there. I don't restrict the comment section. So let us know what you want to talk about. Put that in the comments. Let me know what you think of Cam Heyward, the Aaron Donald possible trade, Joey Porter Jr.'s possible holdout, what kind of ramifications that would have for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Joey. So load the comments up, guys. But don't forget, subscribe to the channel. That has been helping us grow so much. Get that subscriber count out. We're almost to 400. We're just about there. So let's just really hammer it. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would help me. Let's try to hit 500 by the end of July. That's not very far-fetched. That's only a little over 100 and some, here. So 125, 130, subscribers that we need. So let's do it. I think we can. Let's try to hit that 500 subscriber mark before the end of July. Keep watching Mike Drop Sports. Like the videos, share the videos. Keep coming back and watching. Interact with us, guys, and I truly appreciate it. And thanks for stopping by for another episode of All About the Game.